Yeah, this, like, the end of March through all of April seems like it is a very busy time for merch, dude. May need to refresh. I'll refresh. I'll give it a thick refresh. Nope, doesn't seem to be here. Yeah, I mean it's in beta, so like if your name doesn't show up, I'm Shawi. I'm Shawi. I can't fix that, but thank you for being beautiful and lovely. Slacking too hard. Spider God's probably one of the top, along with Jimothy Farm. Logged in with your Twitch account? You've logged in with Twitch. Could be, make sure you're logged in using Twitch ID. There's nothing there. Clicking the tab. Perhaps you didn't claim a gift. So I'm thinking you have to go to the claim a prize area, and then if there's something here, you claim it, and then maybe it goes to your cart. I'm not claiming gifts, so I don't know exactly what happens after you click claim. You gifted one with and one without logging in. Oh. The cups last like 3 seconds. It was up there, your page refreshed, and he's gone, so you assume something broke. Oh, interesting. Interesting. The gifts are only around for a little bit. Keep an eye out. Yeah, they have been going very, very fast. So once again, thank you. Thank you guys for being super fucking lovely and cute. Mr. Lunduke Journal. We're gonna get through his tweets, man. We're gonna get through his tweets. We got another one here from somebody inside Red Hat. Absolutely shameful position by our executive management. 100 plus years of leadership. This space is thrown out the window in the interest of short-term profits. I joined this company as a graduate hire just over 5 years ago. The main reason I applied to this company was because of its long-standing history of diversity, equity, and inclusion. I wanted to be a part of a company that would welcome someone like me, and I believed it did. Yet, by removing outdated terms that are not outdated at all, it's capitulating to a growing mindset of bigotry towards so many minorities. If I saw this shift at IBM where they are downplaying their dedication to minorities when I was looking for a job in technology, I would not have applied. You're not attracting talent by doing this, you're shrinking your talent pool. The current political climate is unstable, to put it mildly, and it is a challenge, and I understand that. However, we're told in our own business conduct guidelines to be an upstander if we see something wrong. This is wrong. And this is just like when SHRM said that they were going to be dropping equity from their diversity, equity, and inclusion mantra. A lot of the true believers freaked out in much the same manner. They were like, I can't believe you're doing this. I can't believe you're going back on what we're working towards. But SHRM literally said, they're not changing anything but the language. They need to make white people and men feel included because they cannot enter the cultural transformation they're trying to achieve without getting everyone on board with pushing the work and the messaging. But a lot of true believers are used to reacting to certain stimuli. So when the wording changes, these people are unsure how to react, and they think it might be some sort of a backstabbing to them. There's more here. What a very sad day for IBM. Company I was always proud to be a part of and to brag that it was ahead of its time and doing the right thing to promote DEI. No longer the case. I'm really sorry to hear that we do not have the courage to promote diversity, equity, and inclusion as our objectives. This is not a matter of majority voting, but an attitude I was proud about that IBM followed these beliefs. This topic is not debatable in terms of shareholder value. I'm sad that IBM follows the general mood in the US. This does not make us as IBM special and takes a lot away from being proud to be an IBMer. What are we willing to throw away next just because it's not convenient anymore? It's so shocking to see how, with carefully crafted verbal smokescreens like outdated terms, everything that IBM has built over the last 100 years is being destroyed and thrown overboard in mindless preemptive obedience. Our values are worth nothing if we give them up so easily just to please a crazy guy who is currently driving America into the abyss and doesn't care about the damage he's causing worldwide. A guy who denies scientific findings, uses verbal smokescreens to justify the destruction of democracy, massively offends all of America's long-standing international partners, and oppresses and pits minorities against each other. The phrase to eliminate outdated content and terminology says it all. Insidious. Yeah, these people are fucking crazy. There's no way this is organic. These are true believers, again, who have been taught to react to certain stimuli. So when IBM changes language and says they're like not going to be using outdated terminology anymore, that's IBM saying we need to change these things to continue doing the work in a more secretive manner. And I'll get to my tweet in a second. But these people are used to this terminology. That terminology is what sparks their brains into working. And so if that terminology goes away, these true believers think these companies are turning their backs on them. Which is why in the meetings with Bridge for both January and February, parts of those meetings were involving the HR representatives who had come to them to talk to them and explain how you need to change the language in order to keep doing the work without getting in legal trouble, but you need to change it in a way that also relaxes everyone and allows them to know, hey, we have to do this if we want to be committed to our cultural change, but we have to change some of the terminology for now. Please don't worry. Like, this is something that Bridge has gone over for quite a while. And he has a lot more tweets here of like DEI faithfuls freaking out. I don't think I need to read all of these. Appreciate the statement. It took me a while to understand what it said. I summarize it as below. Is it accurate? IBM continue to believe that talent is a pillar to competitive advantage. Inclusion is the key to attract and retain from all talent pools. Going forward, we won't share our beliefs externally anymore to attract all talent. And executive leaders aren't incentivized on this pillar anymore to competitive advantage. If that's the case, it's kind of disappointing to me. Not sure when I shall read from this, but discussing with my Gen AI assistant, my conclusion is that IBM is not standing up for diversity any longer. It is now a personal thing for any individual IBMer to follow or not to follow. Shame. Competitive package, yeah, right? Yeah, right. This is interesting. I didn't see this before. But back to his main tweet. Note that all but one of those was the Lunduke Journal, and the other one was not Robbie Starbuck. Among the mountain of leaks which I have published, some of which Robbie discusses in his video without credit given to the Lunduke Journal, I have never once mentioned, or I never heard one mention of Robbie Starbuck by IBM or Red Hat executives. I have heard several mentions of both James O'Keefe and myself. I even forwarded the most recent leaks published by the Lunduke Journal to Robbie Starbuck, which it appears led to his announcement. This is weird and shady, Robbie. And here's Robbie's little video here. Let me turn off my BGM again.
All right, y'all, huge win to report to you guys. Another behemoth of a company. This one has a market cap of almost $250 billion, is getting rid of their DEI policies, getting rid of their wokeness. And this is after we have come to the table and engaged with them. And we're coming away with a lot of changes that we can exclusively tell you about. And the company that's changing today is IBM. Now let's dive into all the changes that are happening at IBM. First of all, IBM will no longer have a DEI department. And secondly, they will no longer participate in the HRC's crazy woke CEI scoring system that's essentially a social credit system to ensure the corporation.
Wow, they're doing exactly what Bridge has instructed them to do for the last 2 fucking years. Don't explain this shit publicly. Get out of the reporting system so people don't notice what you're doing. Wow! Wow, it's almost like I've been talking about this for over a year.
Are sufficiently woke and adherent to the trans agenda. Third, and y'all know this is one of my favorites, IBM will no longer use the insane woke terminology Latinx. We're Latinos, we're Hispanic, we're not Latinx. Okay, so they are going to stop this lunacy. Number 4, IBM has eliminated their diversity council. And number 5, they have eliminated.
The fuck is a Be Equal podcast? Oh god. I'm tired, boss. They eliminated the diversity council. You know what they probably did is just rename it to something else or just disperse all of their diversity officers into other departments without a diversity title.
Their Be Equal podcast, which is essentially a DEI podcast. And sadly, yes, that was a real thing. Number 6, and this is big, IBM will no longer endorse the so-called Equality Act, which was a bill that was the enemy of the safety of women and girls, because that bill had nothing to do with equality. It was about allowing men who pretend to be women into girls' sports, into girls' spaces like their bathrooms, their locker rooms, women's jails, and even women's shelters. So yeah, good news. IBM is pulling out of this. Like many companies,
I'd like to see a source for that one. I would like to see a source for that one though.
Sadly endorsed this bill back when the HRC pressured companies to endorse this bill. That is no longer the case. IBM will not be endorsing this bill going forward. Number 7, and I can't stress the absurdity of this enough that this was a real thing. IBM has ended their I'm in Allyship campaign. And yes, sadly, once again, that was a real thing. And if you look below this, you'll see something called Allyship circles, where I guess people sit in circles and talk about how to be better allies to one another. What a fantastic use of work time.
One of the ways that Bridge has instructed companies to keep their ERGs is to say that the ERGs are open to allies. So like I've explained before, if there's like an African American employee resource group, you can join that without being an African American as long as you are considered an ally. And also they don't really even have to accept you, they just have to give you the opportunity to apply to it. So
freaking lunatics. Okay, I'm sorry, but stuff like this drives me crazy. Work is work. We're not there to sing Kumbaya. We're not there to do therapy. We're not there for your psychological well-being. We're there to do work, okay? Get your job done and stop pretending everybody else owes you some sort of empathy session or some sort of victimhood validation. We don't. Just do your job, please. Number 8, IBM has shifted their supplier strategy to no longer prioritize diverse suppliers, and instead they are prioritizing and focusing on all small businesses and veteran-owned businesses.
We read this from one of the Bridge emails, I think last week, where a lot of companies are shifting the language from diverse suppliers to small business suppliers. They're not changing anything, they just changed the name.
Number 9, this will be a tough one for the they-thems. IBM will not have a corporate policy of suggesting that you use preferred pronouns. Number 10, IBM will not include allyship in their training programs going forward. Number 11,
if the tenets of DEI are just dispersed throughout the entire company and everyone is forced to do them, you don't really need to include allyship training, especially under that name, because everyone's going to take the allyship training under their regular training manual.
maybe most important, IBM will hire the best candidates regardless of race. They are not going to do diversity quotas in hiring, period. And lastly, diversity goals are no longer a part of the executive compensation at IBM. Hat tip to James O'Keefe's previous story on the CEO at IBM, because I think that had something to do with that specific change. If you love and appreciate what we do, then please subscribe on my X page at Robbie Starbuck, or go to RobbieStarbuck.com/DEI, where you can contribute one time if you want to help us fight this crazy ideology that has infected corporate America. Together, we can eliminate it. And if you're an executive watching, get rid of this stuff before we call you. Please, you don't need to wait for us. Please just have the courage to get rid of this. Save your companies. We know what makes America great, and it is not DEI.
Chat, am I not good at shilling? Is this what I should be doing? Like, instead of actually caring about Bridge and what Bridge is doing, should I just be like, hey chat, if you want me to do more research on this, if you like listening to Bridge nonsense, fucking, you don't have $5? You gotta subscribe, you gotta spend your money if you want me to do more Bridge things. Like, that just feels fucking weird. Like, whenever I hear it, I get like that skin crawly feeling, like, you should be doing this because it's something you want to do and feel principled for. I'm like, yeah, sure, it's great when people pay you money, but to, like, tack that on at the end of you, like, exposing things, I don't know. It makes me feel fucking weird, dude. Look at his eyes. Guy's either a grifter or planned opposition. With how much articles tout him as, like, the anti-DEI activist taking down DEI in companies, it makes it feel like really, really planned. Robbie has done good work before, but he's getting a big head, starting to think he doesn't really care. He's just doing it for money and recognition. Keep doing what you do, Lunduke. Very few balanced voices in tech media. You're important and appreciated. And it's also important to call out things when they are incorrect, which is why I have, quote, retweeted Robbie Starbuck probably like 10 or so times, correcting him when he says that DEI has been dropped from a company. Like, Jack Daniels didn't drop it, Harley Davidson didn't drop it, Lowe's didn't drop it, Amazon obviously not going to drop it. Like, it's been so many companies, it's gotten kind of ridiculous. And again, if you go to Robbie Starbuck's tweet here that he was talking about in his video, and you go to the hidden replies, you do see him hiding everyone talking about Lunduke Journal and how the Lunduke Journal was the one who brought out this information. And as I've said before, any small content creators in my chat, hidden messages are pinned messages. If you don't want someone to see something, you don't hide it. Right? Like, if you try to hide something, it's just going to boost it even further. Going to boost it even further. Do not use the hidden replies for their intended function. Only time I ever hide replies is if they're from, like, the fucking sex bots that haven't gotten banned yet. YouTube keeps crashing my stream. Fuck you, YouTube! Fuck you, YouTube! And then, for me, correcting Lunduke, so now that we've gotten this out of the way, Lunduke Journal has very important whistleblowers showing what's going on in IBM, and I'm glad he does, because I wouldn't be able to point out what's going on with Bridge if he hadn't had these whistleblowers giving him information, right? But, let me find my twootles on this. my twootles. Beep, 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 beep. Alright, this one. It's this one. My phone is buzz buzz. Beep. Get Streisand affected, nerd. So I quote retweeted Lunduke here with his April 8th tweet. The Lunduke Journal has obtained an internal email from Red Hat subsidiary of IBM CEO Matt Hicks, which announces a number of massive DEI-related changes at the open source giant. Red Hat will remove the racist, illegal diversity requirements for third-party suppliers. The DEI communities will be transformed into employee resource groups. DEI-related information and language will be updated or removed from Red Hat's public websites. And so a TLDR from this, because we've already read this entire thing, this bridge buzz from April. I read some of these points on Side Scrollers. I read through the entire thing on my own stream after I was on Side Scrollers. So we've read this entire thing already. But down here, number 5, the Civil Rights Act and the legal protections it affords remain unchanged. Continue to review your DEI practices to ensure that they are compliant with Title VII. For example, internships are open to all applicants, mentorships open to all employees, allies are invited to attend ERGs. They know what they're doing. This has been planned. An executive order is a directive for how the federal government must act under the law, and in and of itself, it does not have the force of law. Therefore, executive orders can be overturned if they violate federal or constitutional law. The assertion that merit-based hiring is contrary to DEI practices is a false narrative. DEI practitioners have not advocated for hiring unqualified individuals. The role of DEI is to break the systemic structures that have historically excluded qualified talent and expand opportunities to those who have been arbitrarily denied access. Merit and DEI have never been mutually exclusive. Number 8, you cannot please everyone, so committing to your company values versus capitulating to the politics of the moment is essential in maintaining trust in your brand. These values guide your mission, goals, culture, decision-making, behaviors, and relationships, serving as a foundation for how your company operates and interacts with employees, customers, and the broader community. Clearly define a zero-tolerance policy for all forms of discrimination and harassment. Ensure it is clearly communicated to your employees. And once again, any company claiming this, we know is just bridge language. We know that all of these people are upset that the EEOC said, yes, if you are white, if you are male, if you are heterosexual, you can file discrimination cases. It is not just for so-called protected classes. There is no such thing as reverse discrimination. It is just discrimination. And they out themselves when they show that they get mad at what the EEOC is doing, because the EEOC is actually showing a zero-tolerance policy. These people want to discriminate. They want to implement anti-racist policies, which are just the correct kind of racism. And then when you read, because this is what I said to do, I said read the bridge thing and then reread the Red Hat leaks. So after reading that TLDR portion of the bridge email, this is from the Red Hat email. After our review of existing programs and processes, we are making some changes beginning this week. From the beginning, we have always amplified the passion of Red Hatters. It's what made us so successful in open source. But our individual passions don't stop at software development, and the lines have blurred between individual beliefs and our company positions. In the current environment, in the US and around the world, we have to clarify our positions as a company separately from the positions of the passionate individuals who make up our company. As a result, you will see us making the following changes. And once again, they're lying to you here. They're saying that they're going to separate the individual positions of people from the positions of the company. But again, if you read in the bridge, committing to your company values versus capitulating to the politics of the moment is essential in maintaining trust in your brand. The values of the individuals are what informed the values of the company. They're not changing what the values are. And especially a company like IBM, who has been dedicated to DEI for so long, they're not going to just throw it in the trash. It's the same as people claiming it's leaving Amazon. It's not going to. We are updating information and language on both our internal and external websites, like redhat.com and Source. Some content will be removed, while other content will be updated. And again, updating information, changing language is obfuscating what they're doing. They're not getting rid of anything. We will transform our DEI communities into employee resource groups focused on support, networking, and mentoring. These ERGs will remain open and inclusive to every Red Hat associate. And again, in the bridge email, where is it? For example, internships are open to all applicants, mentorships open to all employees, allies are invited to attend, employee resource groups, etc. This is not changing anything. This is still adhering to the work. This is still following DEI messaging. We have evolved our global procurement criteria, which involves removing specific supplier diversity requirements. Again, this is involving changing the language from saying that they're going to use diverse suppliers to saying they're going to use small businesses. We are evaluating other programs and processes, and if any changes are needed, we will also make those. And again, this is what Bridge has been informing people of. Pay attention to the laws, pay attention to how the executive orders are being revealed, pay attention to if your company receives federal funding, how you'll have to change your language to avoid lawsuits or getting your funding pulled. This is not evaluating if we need to drop DEI. This is evaluating if we need to change more language. The principles have been and always will be core to who Red Hat is. We will continue to create a space where everyone is welcomed, respected, and valued, guided by our shared passion for our open source principles and our commitment to our customer success. We continue to believe that our collective strength sparks open source innovation and that unites us through a culture of belonging. And again, belonging was one of the words that was very, very much liked, especially by SHRM, to exchange with equity. So you have inclusion and belonging. You want to make these people feel like they belong, because if they don't feel like they belong at your company, they're not going to adopt your values. They're not going to want to push the message, and you need them to usher in the cultural transformation. We will continue to focus on building and retaining teams that represent the communities we work in and serve. To achieve this, we will continue to recruit in places and at events that introduce Red Hat to a broad audience and talent pool. We will not tolerate discrimination of any kind. We will continue to comply with the applicable laws in all countries in which we operate. And these last 2 points here, again, if you go back to the Bridge email, clearly define a zero-tolerance policy for all forms of discrimination and harassment. Ensure it is clearly communicated